You're welcome. I think about this kind of stuff so you don't have to. I am going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tips to be successful in sales. The first one, you're like, and the last one, if you do it, are huge. So first one's huge, last one's huge. They're all great, but let's jump in to these 7 tips. The first one, never, ever, 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 if you work in sales, complain about anything. All right, I have been working in sales. I have been studying sales. I have been where you're at my entire life. And here's what I've learned. The whiners, although they might create change within the organization, they don't get to see it because the whiners get fired first. So if you work in sales, your feelings are irrelevant. Keep them to yourself. Don't complain about your comp plan. Don't complain about your manager, your product, the economy, your competition. Shut the hell up and don't complain. Other people will do it for you, and they're going to be asked to leave. And then, and maybe if, management will go, maybe we need to change the comp plan or the territories. Those people that complained won't be around. Don't ever complain. Keep your head down, embrace the grind, do your work, get your stuff done. Here's the stuff. Here's the biggest thing you need to realize. The stuff you're complaining about, it really doesn't matter. If you have a process and you trust the process and you follow the process and you embrace the grind, that stuff that you wanted to complain about, if you redirected that energy towards closing, you'd make a lot more money. And if you want to complain about something, let somebody else do it, because they're going to get fired. And maybe you'll get their territory. It does not work in sales. Don't complain. Number 2, okay? I need you to act with irrational self-confidence. I'll figure it out. I can get it done. I can handle it. Give me the job, all right? Act with irrational self-confidence. Even if you don't believe in yourself, your product, your company, your pricing, your contracts, act as if. To the degree that you are confident will be the degree that other people are confident in you, your company, your product, your services, okay? Have a do-it-now mentality. Now back up your irrational self-confidence with that do-it-now mentality, and as we're working on here at eastonuniversity.com, on the portal and on these live sessions, have a process to back it up. If you've got a do-it-now mentality, you're not going to wait to send that email. You're not going to wait to respond to that RFP or RFQ. You have total confidence that you're going to win it, and you follow a process, you will get it done. All right? Number 3, and we hate to do this when we work in sales. We hate to do this when we're in commissions. We just hate to do it, period, okay? But here's what you have to realize. Admit when you've made a mistake. Own it. Admit when you've made a mistake. Own it. Don't make excuses. Own it. Man, I own that. That is my mistake. Dave, should have had that over to you last week. I'm going to own that one. Here's the cool thing, okay? Success happens through iteration. And if you don't admit that you make mistakes, you can't improve your process. You can't iterate. Now there's a huge difference between us admitting when we've made a mistake and us complaining. We're not going to complain, ever. We're going to admit when we've made a mistake. Here's the weird area where those things kind of cross a little bit. Let's say your company screws up. Your manager didn't get the thing. You're going to own that. You're not going to complain about your company, your manager, your procurement department, your SDR that was supposed to do this, or your BDR that didn't let you know that the meeting was going to happen. I own that. Hey, should have been at the meeting. I'm going to own that. Why? Because now I'm not complaining, I'm owning everything, I'm showing that I'm in control, and by owning it, now I can have a meaningful discussion with my BDR and say, listen, I own that, I don't want to keep owning that. What do we need to do in the process to make sure that you're making me aware of these meetings? Well, I emailed them to you. You did? I didn't see it. Oh, no, there it is. You're just looking at the wrong part and you're looking for the wrong title. Oh, my bad. Okay? Improvements happen through iteration. We can't improve and we can't figure out where the problems are. We can't iterate if we don't own our mistakes. Okay? So make sure that you admit when you're wrong. All right? Honor your commitments. Do what you say you were going to do. Here's the great thing, and I know that sounds cliche, but you can make millions of dollars in sales if you do what you say you were going to do when you said you were going to do it. Here's the great thing though about doing what you said you were going to do when you said you were going to do it. If you follow my process, the Easton process, and your NSO Next Step Obsessed, you never have to follow up or check in ever. So you get 90% of your time back. Because I'm not calling Dave or Rich or Susan or Tiffany, I'm just following up and checking in to see if you're still interested, because I said a gosh darn next step. Dave, makes total sense. I'll have an email to you with my understanding of the current situation, capabilities needed, next steps. Give me 30 minutes, I'll have that out to you, and then I'll call you next Monday if I haven't heard from you before then. Fair enough? Right? On Monday, hey Dave, Matt Easton, founder at Easton University, as promised, calling to see if it makes sense to get you guys access to our XYZ so you can go from 1, 2, 3 to 4, 5, 6. I'm on my mobile, 720-660-3202, okay? I'm doing what I said I was going to do when I said I was going to do it, but I'm never saying, I'll follow up, okay? I'm making a very specific, here's what I'm going to do when I'm going to do it. And then when I do it, I use those 2 sexy words, as promised, okay? Honor your commitments. Last few here. Take yourself seriously. Take yourself seriously. Take yourself seriously. When you introduce yourself to people at parties, you should be saying, I am the best in the world at what I do. If you can't say in good confidence that you're the best in the world at what you do, work on it. Which is what you're doing right here on these Easton University sessions, every Tuesday, every Thursday, twice a week. Your competition's not here. You should be in a position where you can take yourself seriously and say, I'm the best. To the degree that you are sold on yourself will be the degree that you can sell other people. If you're really unconfident that you're the best, spend a little bit of time learning about your industry, training on your sales process, which you're doing right now. And then you're going to be able to say you're the best with total self-confidence. All right? Last 2. This one's huge. Control your emotions. Okay? We have managers that are crazy. We have people that lead our companies that maybe shouldn't. I don't know what's going on in your world. Okay? We have procurement departments that are like deal prevention squad. Okay? You're like, I worked my butt off and flew to Tulsa 6 times to get this deal, and legal's not willing to redline that one little thing? Like, do they realize? By the way, the Tulsa airport is a dream, but the other airport I had to connect through, ATL, that's a nightmare. Tulsa airport is a dream. I don't know if you guys, I was in the Tulsa airport last week. It's a dream for people like us that have to travel. It's the best thing ever. Okay, I digress. All right, but control your emotions. When those deals go bad, stay calm. When your client is being a jerk, stay calm. When they don't do the things that they said they were going to do when they said they were going to do it, stay calm. Your emotions will not help you at all. Why? Emotions lead to what? Us not being rational. When we're irrational, what do? We complain. What happens to complainers in sales? They get fired. Okay? So again, we're not complaining, we're controlling our emotions. And the last one, and this one is huge, and many of you are doing it. There's one person, I see them, hi, I'm not going to call you out, that is now making 6 times more than they were making even a year ago. And it's simply because they're writing their goals down every day as if they've already achieved them, and they've got activities associated with each goal. Okay? Write your goals down and have activities associated with your goal. So if there's a certain amount of calls you need to make the calls. Hold yourself accountable. Okay? Write your goal down that you're going to make this much money. You're going to achieve this percentage of plan. Then reverse engineer the daily activities. It is that simple. Those are your 7 things that I wanted to give to you today. Are they the only 7? No. That first one and that last one. Don't ever complain. By the way, nobody ever talks about that. Who's ever wrote a sales book about that? Guarantee it's true. Guarantee it's true. Some of y'all, myself included, okay, have found ourselves on the wrong side of the indoor to the company because we complained about something, only to find out what? They let that manager you were complaining about go 120 days after you left. You should have just kept your mouth shut and let that person, boom, blow up their own career. okay? Just don't complain. That's not for us. Salespeople shouldn't complain. We're the grunts, okay? You want us to go over that hill through the bullets and under the wood and to the Tulsa airport. Actually, Tulsa airport's pretty nice. But you want me to have a layover in ATL? Aye, right? We're not going to complain. We're just going to do it. I see the questions there, but let me talk to one other thing, okay? Because one of you, who's going to remain nameless, had this problem happen, and I feel them. I understand them, but I want to make sure that you guys understand the problem because this happens to you, okay? You're on Easton University. You're here. You're getting more skillful. You're slowing your sales process down in the beginning. You've got your flow going. You're basically like surfing these deals. And then there's somebody else at your company, typically in the hierarchy, they probably sit above you in the food chain, and what do they want to do? They want to tag along on your deals. And they come in and blow everything up. Because in the first 2 seconds, they want to talk about the history of the company, and they want to talk about the new this and the dashboard and this, and they're just throwing up in their pitch, and it's totally counterintuitive to the sales process that you're learning here, the right sales process. And this person comes in to a deal that you spent all this time to build, and they screw it all up with a pitch. Okay? Here's the advice that I gave this other person. That's your fault. And the other person said, well, that's also my boss, so what am I supposed to do? What you're supposed to do is make it stupid easy for your boss to follow the process. What you're supposed to do is prep everybody before the call. And even though your boss can go all maverick and do crazy stuff, put them in a position to where they can't. That sounds like this. Hey Ryan, I'm so excited that we can be here. I've got Jeff here with me. Really excited. Based on my understanding, first of all, Ryan, what's the most important thing that we need to accomplish today? I need to make sure that you guys are R246 compliant. Perfect. That's why I've got Jeff here. My understanding, current situation, you're locked and loaded. You're really good to go. Everything looks good. We've got you on that path to do 4.6 million from the 1.7 that you're at right now. The reason why I brought Jeff in, the only thing that's standing in your way is talking about that R246 compliance issue. Jeff, can you let, who was it that I was talking to? I can't remember. Imaginary person. Can you let Ryan know about our R246? Now what I'm doing is I'm basically just putting a box around R246. I am looking at Jeff, okay? And then I'm handing it over to Jeff. And hopefully Jeff's not going to screw it up. But what I can't do is start the meeting and go, hey, Ryan, I've got Jeff here, our CEO. Man, he's so excited. Jeff, do you want to say a few things? Sure. Hand grenade, dynamite, gasoline, match, right? CEOs are notorious for doing this. They're just going to create a big bonfire and go, ta-da, and the client's going to leave the meeting more confused. Right? Make it stupid easy when other people are attending your meetings with you. I used to have this guy named Alex. Okay, hence the bigger Sharpies. I was like Alex. He was a drummer, but he was also a solutions architect at the nameless company. You guys probably saw this story on the portal. I had to tell Alex, I will buy you Foo Fighters tickets in the, I don't think it's the Superdome anymore. God, I'm old. It's the Mercedes Dome. It's probably not even that anymore. It's probably the Hyundai Dome. I don't know. Whatever they had in North Atlanta, I was like, when Foo Fighters come, okay, because he was a huge Foo Fighters fan, hence the Nirvana, right? If you only speak when you're holding this, I'll buy you front row ticket to Foo Fighters, because Alex could never get a date. I was literally like, Alex, they want to know how our dashboards integrate with this. And I would hand Alex the thing, and Alex would start talking. And Alex knew when I reached for the thing, he'd be like, and that's pretty much it. Okay? And people would be like, how does the software work with adding users? I wouldn't hand the baton to Alex, because I knew that was a nightmare. I would start with, works great. And half the time they would go, awesome, how do we move forward? And I would say, what happens next? And Alex would be like, I flew all the way from Atlanta to Tulsa. By the way, the airport's awesome. Matt, I know, right, Alex? You didn't even need me. Nope, turns out I didn't. You know, we got the deal. Okay, but when somebody goes, how does it work with adding users, and you have somebody else or yourself in that meeting, it's like, well, let me walk through the architecture. And it was, at the time, I'm really old, but at the time it was like, the old architecture was 32-bit, we're 64, and we're getting very quick to move to 128. Well, gosh, if you're gonna move to 128, we probably shouldn't be doing this deal because I don't know if we're 128, and then that's gonna be, oh, boom, the whole deal blew up, right? How does it work adding users? Works great. Right? And if they asked a specific question, where are you guys at right now in terms of bit encryption? Alex, take it over on bit encryption. We're at 32 right now. The new version is 64. Thank you, Alex. Does it make sense to move forward? Guys, you have to control these other people that are in the room with you, even if they're your boss, even if they're your support. You are the maestro. This is your deal, okay? You have to control everybody in the room or else they're gonna blow everything up.